Billy here. I'm going to tell you something you might not know. I'm going to make a series of short videos. I'll try to keep this short. Telling you how the sausage is made. From my first-hand experience and what I've put together over the years as a military contractor. Anybody in the military will tell you that there are a lot of officers. I don't know what the percentage is, but there are some officers, usually in the upper brass, high-ranking officers, that are batshit crazy. Nobody can stand them. They can't even interface with other people normally. I think a lot of them that went to West Point, and their families are West Point people, and their ancestors are all West Point people, and they don't know anybody that didn't go to West Point. They're a different breed. They're not like you and I. They're generally very dull-witted. They're pettifoggers. All they see is little petty things that they just scream and throw fits over. They don't really accomplish anything or serve any important function. I've encountered such people. I've watched them dressing down my department head. You've got too many people here. You're wasting the taxpayers' money. You got all these people standing around doing nothing. You got people hiding. I want these people out of here. I want them out of here right now. And they'll just go on and on like that for 20 minutes screaming at him. I'm standing there watching this, right? And then like the next day we got 6,000 Marines rolling in. We got to move all their equipment and build housing for them, get them all accommodated and stuff, So the next day the same guys there. You don't have enough people here. I want to see some more people right here. There's no way you can do the job. Just shift gears seamlessly with no self-awareness whatsoever. It's not just somebody doing their job. It's somebody that's got something real freaking wrong with them. And I've had experiences personally with such people. Oh, there's good officers too. I spent the whole day rolling around with a 4-star general stealing barriers from all the other departments because this guy could, nobody's going to argue with him. We're going around marking them to pick them up and take them because we needed a lot of them and everybody's wasting them. They were just using them for, kind of a luxury item. Anyway, that's another story. He's a nice guy. He's the one that told me that they're going to have a NATO base in Sevastopol someday. This is like 2008, 2007 maybe. Oh, it had been 2007, maybe even earlier. I rolled out of there in 2008. Which brings me to my original story that I was going to tell. KBR, a lot of you think that's Kellogg Brown and Root. That's actually kinfolk, buddies, and relatives. They love to hire generals and make them project managers. They liked anything they could get, colonels, anything. But they didn't pay very much, so they got the bottom of the barrel, so we got the real Lulus. And they had a project manager in charge of us at Kandahar. And he was, of course, he'd do his PT every day, he'd jog. And while he's jogging, he's looking around, and anything he saw that he didn't like is usually some stupid little petty thing. He wanted to see somebody fired. And KBR is cool with that because when they fire you and bring somebody else in and train them and put in your position, all the money they spend doing that, they get that back. They charge it to the government plus 20%. It's cost plus contracts they were on. So they did a lot of really inefficient things because they can just charge the government whatever they spent and then add a profit to the top of that. And they would spend things to guide profits into the pockets of people that kick back for them anyway. I mean, that's how it worked. You can spend a lot of money doing stuff really inefficiently. I think they fixed it all by now, right? They just got other criminals in charge that got rid of some, put other ones in. They're always throwing people under the bus. It's a constant flux, constantly moving thing. But anyway, this guy is jogging around and I had to move something. It was a real long, tedious, slow process. I'm sitting in a crane with no air conditioning. It's 118 degrees. And I took my helmet off and start wiping my face. And I heard on the radio, Transport, you got a crane operator here that doesn't think he has to wear his hard hat. I want him off my camp immediately. Yeah, what an asshole. Well, our manager was a great guy. He was an extremely rare exception. He didn't throw us under the bus. He stood up for us. He didn't want a new guy coming in anyway. So he says, they had a meeting and said, no, the guy's wiping his face. What the hell was wrong with you? He probably was a lot nicer than that, though. Anyway, didn't matter. I was rolling out in a few days anyway. I already put in my papers. And the cool thing was, this guy, I think this guy's a retired colonel. And he's just an idiot pettifogger. And so out of control. And I proved it. We had meetings we had to go to every week where we all go in this big building. And you remember there's occasional rocket attacks and bomb attacks here, but they gather us all together real tight in one building. And for some reason, this guy would start every meeting by spending 10 minutes yelling at people and marching them around and rearranging the crowd. It really pissed him off when people are near the door. He wanted a big hole by the door. He didn't want anybody standing by the door so they could leave quickly when the thing was done because they had something to do. You over there, I want you down in front of this stage. He spent the whole freaking first part of the meeting doing that and marching people around. I'm hanging out by the door because this was my last day when they had the meeting, and he's up there yelling at people and stuff, and it didn't take him long to see me. Me and some other guys are standing by the door. You over there by the door, I want you down here front and center right now. I just kind of leaned back and relaxed and smiled at him. I had a pretty good assessment of what this guy's made of, right? So I just leaned against the doorpost and stayed there. Eventually he saw I hadn't moved, and boy, did he get mad. He jumped off the stage and he come with his fist like this. He come pulling up and got that far from my face. I'm talking to you! I told you to get down front and center! And I just smiled and said, yeah, I heard you. Holy sheep crap, he freaking turned beet red, tears started rolling down his cheeks, he's shaking, and he turned around and walked back to the stage and he climbed back up to do the meeting, and he couldn't do it, his voice is breaking, he sounded like a little girl ready to cry. I enjoyed the hell out of that. And it was really sick and amazing too, though, that this man was in command of people. A very important man in the U.S. Army, and he couldn't control himself. He was such an egoist and such a little baby that he couldn't control himself during a meeting when somebody said no. I didn't even say no. I said, I heard you. No was implied. That's even better. Some days are diamonds. I had some real sweet moments. But think about that. That's what a lot of your people in the military are like. I mean, the brass, the people who are commanding people that have their lives in their hands. And they're all drumming we gotta stop Russia. We gotta do something about that. Well, yeah, they all got contracts, and they all have, they're on the boards, and they get salaries, and they get stock options for defense people. That's how the carousel works. That's why you can't really stop it without dismantling that. Nobody's going to dismantle that. Yeah, Congress critters wanting jobs in their districts, and they get kickbacks in the defense industry. I've been in some of the defense contracting places. Because I'm an automation specialist, when I'm back in the States, I work for Pratt & Whitney sometimes and some other places. But I just got a little glimpse of how this thing works. It's a carousel. It's a money machine for people that are insane. And they got to fool you. They got their legs and they got their hands and they got their grubby little dirty fingers in the media too, to tell you that we have to go defend Ukraine. The Biden crime family is getting a lot of money out of Ukraine, so are a lot of other people. They like things the way they are. They're going to turn it into an Afghanistan shithole. And your tax monies are just pouring in there. And then some of it comes back that they put in their pockets. There's a feeding trough for all these shitty people. How do you stop it? Well, I'm working on it. You with me? First thing to do is let people know how it works. I'm going to do a series of articles about going down to the core of it. The very core of this thing is what are the geopolitical goals of the U.S.? And where do these goals come from? Well, they come from these people I'm talking about. That's what's got to be stopped. Their goals are short-sighted. They're just a bunch of stupid, dull-witted, greedy idiots. All they see in everything they do, and they're making geopolitical decisions and lobbying for them, all they see is, I want to get that money. I want to get that contract. I'm going to get that money. Well, that's going to make my stocks go up. I'm going to do that. That's all they see. That's the only thing they're worried about. They're the shittiest people on the face of the planet. They'll get theirs one day. I'm Orthodox. All this stuff susses out in the end. I wouldn't want to be them. They're going to have to stand before the living God one day. And everything will be exposed. It'd be nice if it's exposed now. I mean, really would. It'd save a lot of trouble. But anyway, the geopolitical goals at the core of the U.S. are doomed. It's monopolar. It's hegemony. They want a one world government with them in charge. They want one point of power for the whole world. They're building the Davos crowd, the billionaires, the people that own the all the big corporations. Now, they're trying to build something that's just doomed. If they did get what they want, it would be the most horrifying form of slavery worldwide. Everything you're seeing going on is pointing toward that. But there is opposition to that. There are countries that don't want to go along with that. And it mainly focuses on Russia. Russia and China are allied for a multipolar world. Oh, the Chinese done took our jobs. No, your financial institutions and your Congress critters gave them to them. Because they have this vision for China doing all the manufacturing, America doing all the goon work. For now, till they don't need goons anymore. Once everything's all wired up, they're not going to need you for anything. What do you think you're going to do then? But there is a vision for a multipolar world where each region has its own sphere of influence, where they respect the local cultures and let people develop organically on their own instead of imposing this technocracy on them. A lot of people don't know that. I mean, it's... They've been writing books about it for years, but you don't get to read them. This is a good one right here. I don't know if you can get a hold of that or not. I'm going to try to make materials like this available to you or show you where you can buy them. I wrote a book about this years ago. It's not very popular. And I've mentioned it before. I'm plugging for my book because I need some freaking income coming in. Unified separatism is a very dumbed down blue collar assessment of this from the inner workings of my pudding vessel right here. It's a very short book and it's only $3 or $4 or something like that. I haven't paid much attention because nobody else has either. Why should I? Unified separatism. Google it. It'll take you right to it. Make sure and spell it right. Anyway, I'll put a link in, maybe the next video. I'm kind of in a hurry now. I got a lot of things to do. But I just wanted to put that out there, just a glimpse, first-hand information, and of how, seeing these patterns, how this beast works and why it's in play. And I saw, this morning I accidentally watched Fox News with some stupid general in there talking about Russia's capabilities and what we need to do and all that. I bet he's got stock in defense corporations. It's probably given to him. I bet he sits on the board of some of them. He'd be an exception if he doesn't. And if he doesn't, why would he be saying these things, which are patently false? Ukraine has the Donetsk and Lugansk People's Republics surrounded. And you get turned off. Why they call themselves People's Republics? You don't know a damn thing about any of this. You have no... Just if the word People's Republic sets you off, it's because you've been propagandized all your life. You should wish you had a People's Republic. You think unbridled free trade, private property capitalism is great in all aspects. Well, that's what's done this to you. It's not the Chinese that have done it to you. It's your capitalism. It's your huge corporations that have done it. Your huge corporations and billionaires have done this to you. They've taken your jobs away. They've taken your rights away. And they aren't through yet. They're not going to stop till your life is a horrifying nightmare because they get money for it. You don't have any protection over them. The government was supposed to protect you from predatory, oligarchic tyranny. Now you have techno-oligarchic tyranny. And the banks, you don't have any protection from the banks now. Matter of fact, the banks are shilling for the government in Canada right now. If you say something the government don't like, they lock your bank account up. Isn't that lovely? I'm not saying that the communist countries are great either. They had kind of like a reverse flip side of that system, but it wasn't as bad as it is now in your society. You need some protections against these people, but Americans are wired to think any controls on corporations or billionaires is socialism, and socialism is bad. Just ask Charlie Kirk. He's a real smart guy, that Charlie Kirk, old small face. Come on, man. These people are idiots, and they're shilling. You need some controls on corporations and billionaires. Those used to be called rights. Your rights. You don't have any rights anymore. What are they going to do? They're going to start a draft up and send your kids over there for this? And you're going to go, oh, I swore an oath, a sacred oath of honor to defend my country against all enemies, foreign and domestic. I had people regurgitate that to me a lot of times. When are you going to start on the domestic ones? Because those are the ones that have taken your rights away. Now you're going to go overseas and kill people because you get paid for it and it's easy. And if you buck the system, well, then you're a traitor. Are you afraid of that? U.S. fetishizes our military. It shouldn't do that. You're supposed to be citizen soldiers. You're not above me if you served. A lot of them think they are. A lot of them told me so. You know, I was out there in the water fighting the Hodge, mano mano, with my fighting knife, and you were cowering in the bunker because you're a contractor. I've had people blow that shit at me. Nah, that's not right. You know more contractors were killed in Afghanistan and Iraq than military guys? Look it up. It's true. I mean, my first day I got there, a rocket came in and killed 3 of our guys who were sleeping in their hooches. You know, just stop. Stop with this fetishization of the military and fetishizing cops too. You want to lick their boots while they club you because you're not wearing a mask? Okay, this has gone off course. I start ranting. I really need to get centered and just convey information. You would like that, right? I've said all I need to say for now, and this is Uncle Billy. Take it or leave it. It's my opinion. I can give it to you, and you can contemplate it. Just putting it out there. Later.